and welcome to another Friday Secrets of On-Page SEO. My name is Josh Bashinsky, and today we're going to be going through some on-page secrets. I've got a bunch of folks here in the Zoom with me. I've also got YouTube going, and it's broadcasting, yay! So if you're watching on YouTube, please by all means ask any questions on the right-hand side in the chat, or you can ask in the comments underneath. And so let's get right to it, folks. I'm not going to beat around the bush. On-page in 2025 has changed significantly. People are using artificial intelligence to generate content. Google is using artificial intelligence to determine whether you're being spammy or not, determine if you have quality or not. Remember those quality raters that Google used to employ, tens of thousands of humans? Well, they fired most of them. And now they do this on the fly with artificial intelligence. And so our application, which is called, this is interesting. Our application called SEO Co-pilot really helps with the on-page work that you need to do. But it does more than just the regular on page. It goes even further, and it's going to help you save thousands of dollars per month and hundreds of hours of work, which is very, very exciting. And also, it's going to help you make more money, which is also very, very exciting. So let's get right to this here. So here's the SEO Co-pilot. This is in light mode. Yeah. So there's three main areas you got to keep in mind for on page. And so I've been doing this a very long time. I've been doing SEO for almost 30 years. I've been doing SEO longer than Google's been around. Since 1998, I've been doing it since around 96, 97. However, I will fully admit, SEO at that time was nothing. It was put your keywords in the meta keywords tag and you're done, basically. So it was very, very simple, but I've been doing SEO ever since the 2000s, 2010, and now the 2020s. We always started with a different kind of process. So most people feel that on-page typically is just finding the boosting keywords, usually by looking at your competitors and seeing what they're doing. And I'm gonna try to convince you today that that's not the right tack to take, and in fact, there's a better one to take. And then in building your article and putting the keywords in the right spots. However, there's a step that comes before this, and it's called finding the low-hanging fruit by some people. It's also called finding the ranking opportunities. It's in searching out the searches that you want to rank for to begin with, because they either have more traffic or they have better conversion, your client tells you, or you know they have better conversion, or there's a better chance to make money, or they're not super competitive, all right? SEO has been going on now for, like I said, at least 25 years. And some of your competitors have been accruing signals for that length of time. I've got a huge pro tip to tell you right now that you'd only hear at a major conference. And it is that life isn't fair. Sorry, guys. I hate to burst your bubble, but life isn't fair. You're born in this world, and some people have a better chance than you do. That's just the way that it is. And that also applies to SEO. SEO isn't fair either. And you can definitely hurt your business by trying to go for the wrong keywords at the wrong time. If you try to go for keywords that are super difficult to rank for, if you're going for the keywords that are tough or not recommended right off the bat, you're going to have some trouble. You're going to have a lot of trouble in the fact that Google's not going to try you. Google's not going to see your site. Google is going to try your page once and not like it and punch you out of the SERPs. So there is an order to which you need to build your pages, and there is a goal to building your pages. You need to build the pages that are going to make you the most money. In general, you need to try to find the niches that are the easiest to rank for, that also are going to make you the most money. And then we call that final return on investment. And you're like, okay, Josh, but my client tells me, what we're going to rank for. And my answer is they shouldn't. An SEO consultant is a business consultant. And again, this SEO I'm talking about here applies to all SEO. This is local to global SEO. This is porn to churches. This is in-house SEO, client SEO, consultant SEO, rank and rent SEO, which is building up pages and then renting them out per month for a monthly income, and or digital real estate, which is building up a site, getting it ranking like crazy, and then selling the website on Flippa or something like that. These are all the main ways of making money, and affiliate SEO as well, which is being a member of an affiliate network and getting a commission for every time they buy a weight loss cream this or a herbal pill that. All good ways to make money. Even still, great ways to make money. SEO is still over $1 billion industry per year. You can easily carve off some of that for yourself, and by using SEO Co-pilot, you have an unfair competitive advantage over everybody else in carving that off for yourself. That's the good news. The challenge, my friends, is that you need to not forget the keyword discovery step. And I have an AI here. The good news for that is I have an AI here that will take one idea and could possibly blow it up to 20,000 different ideas or 13,000 ideas or 9,000 different niches you can compete in, you can try to make money in. And it's very, very important to make sure that's the case. And so if you're like, but Josh, you're like, okay, that's great, but my client or my brain or whatever says that I want to rank for these particular keywords. Okay, well, first off, an SEO consultant is also a business consultant, right? So don't throw this idea out too quickly that you should maybe be giving a little bit of pushback to your CEO or a little bit of research, let's say, to your client, because I do this all the time and I charge for it and I make money doing it and they make way more money doing it. Whereas, for example, they go, I want to do a bathroom remodel bathtub is what I want to rank for. And I'm like, okay, well, I look to see their query space of, and I say, well, look at, that is it's not that tough actually. This is actually a pretty easy niche. It's a bad example, but let's say they're like, okay, I want to rank for bathroom remodels, or I want to go for North Shore bathroom renovations. That's what we want to rank for. Don't tell me what I think I know, SEO. Just go and build for this, and I don't want to hear anything else about it. That is a mistake on their part. And if that's the client or the boss you have to work for, fine. But you should be doing this keyword research and being like, okay, I looked at the query space, and we should not be starting our new website trying to go for North Shore bathroom renovations. Why? Because this is on average 115% harder than any other SEO niche on average. Right? And it only makes $724 a month. There's only 720 people searching it. Yes, it's really up this year. I can see why in the last 6 months it's up 3,500% in terms of searching. I could see why that is that way and why I could see why you might think we want to go for this. But the truth is, no, you don't. You don't want to start with this keyword, especially if you're building on a new site, because here's another pro tip that, again, here's another huge industry secret that you only learn from 30 years experience. So, and failing a lot. So listen, and succeeding a lot too. So listen to what I have to say. And it's this, that Google, it's a relationship of trust between the SEO and Google. And Google has to highly trust the website that they're going to have to answer questions for their user base. Google's user base is the most important thing to them. Google's users are highly important to them. And they do try really hard to make sure they have a search engine that is giving the right answers to the right people at the right time, from the right websites of the right pages that seem to be trustworthy. And on something this important, with this much money behind it, even this little amount, but this much money behind it and these many searches, or something like this, they are not going to just give any website out. It's not an even playing field anymore. people seem to have this idea from sadly reading blogs from 15 years ago that, oh yeah, it's just an open field and it's all equal. And like whenever you decide to start the race, that's when the race starts. Sorry, that's not how it works, right? I'm here to give you some tough love and help you succeed. And to do that, I also teach martial arts. I have 3 black belts, and so I'm quite used to the tough love scenario. I got news for you. You're not John Wick. You're not going to jump into the room and do a bunch of flying head kicks and knock everybody out. We need to get practical here. And so similarly with SEO, if you have a brand new website and you think you're going to rank for this right away, right off the bat, that's not going to happen, right? Not when you have this kind of competition that some of them know how to do SEO, the rest apparently do not know how to do SEO. And some of them know how to base out their sites and their pages dedicated to this kind of a thing. There's backlinks involved, there's traffic involved, and a lot of them are recognized in terms of their brand awareness, right? They all have really good brand awareness for this particular query, North Shore something or other, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So, and remember the Google trust, right? You're like, okay, but Josh, you're saying that you cannot rank for this? No, you can rank for this if you have the same kind of stats here and power that the competitors do. However, or you're approaching that. However, there's a way you need to build this up. You need to build your site up over time. You need to get the signals. You need to have site weight. You need, which is not WAIT, although it is a good pun. Site weight is both. You have to hold on, wait before you try to rank for the bigger queries, but also you need a bigger site, right? You need to start approaching the size of site that these guys have who are ranking for this. If this was something you wanted to rank for, like North Shore Kitchen and Bath, for example, you need to see, okay, well, how many pages do these guys have in Google to try to rank for this stuff? Okay, well, in this case, this is good. It's only around 32 pages. Okay, great. In this particular case. But there could be more. And again, a new site is not 32 pages. So there's still stuff you need to build up, right? And so in order for Google to trust you to rank for any of these kinds of queries that are anywhere near more difficult, you need to have accrued a whole bunch of signals. And these are largely on-page signals. These are largely on-site signals. They're site weight signals. And they're also quality signals. They're signals in terms of spam scores. There's signals in terms of quality scores. Who here believes that Google has spam or quality algorithms? Let me know in the chat. I'll ask you. It's a tricky question. Who here believes that Google has spam algorithms and or quality algorithms? Does anyone believe that? Give me a hands up in the chat or say yes if you believe it. You can say not sure if you're not sure. If you're also listening here on the Tube Views, you can. There's a few folks listening. Let me know if you think that Google has spam algorithms or quality algorithms. Scott says yes. Well, I'm not surprised because Scott has been around here for a while. Thank you, Scott. I give you a thumbs up for your response. Yeah, they do. They have a lot of them. I can prove it to you. If you join SEO University here, this is SEO University. This is our wins channel. Just shamelessly bragging here for a couple seconds of all the positive ranking results and boostings and things of that nature. We've been reverse engineering Google's algorithms for 12 years. We've been scientifically testing them. We know for a fact that Google has speed and quality. They have quality and they have spam algorithms as well. But also, if you don't want to believe the science of my group, which we're succeeding tremendously by, there's also a number of leaks that I can point to. For example, there's this leak here that came from Google. This was leaked in Search Norwich, but this is actually a leak of Google's parameters that they use. Click age probability and site quality. So there's one Google leak proving that they have a quality algorithm. This is what they used to call Panda. Panda has evolved into site quality. So yes, they have quality algorithms, guys. They can't fire their quality raters if they don't have quality algorithms. And I'm going to talk a lot about click age probability and site quality today. That's another major leak and secret that I'll be giving you today. But also in this one, this is the Google API Content Warehouse. This is 7,414 pages of their API documentation of Google's backend API documentation for all sorts of things in Alphabet, but also their ranking factors notwithstanding. And it was supposed to be private, but someone accidentally made it on their GitHub repo, their repository on GitHub, which is, I don't know if you guys know, is a common website for people to back up their code and do version control on their code. And you can have a public or private repo. They made their private repo public accidentally for 2 days. And as you can see here, there are numerous entries of spam, like spam brain scores, spam cookbook, spam Muppet joints, spam IM. They have all kinds of spam rank, spam score 1, spam score 2. They have all kinds of spam. They have all kinds of spam scores and quality scores as well. So we know this for a fact that they have it, and that's why we have remade an AI model, an SEO Co-pilot, that will help you live through it. And these are the kinds of results you will get by using it. Again, just a shameless 5-second plug. This is putting SEO University together, which is the think tank that gives SEO Co-pilot all of its teeth, that does the SEO engineering for SEO Co-pilot behind the scenes, and using SEO Co-pilot to build out the pages. Faster and easier and cheaper than you ever could have before. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be doing SEO. A lot of people are trying to get out of SEO. That's unfortunate. That's good for us. It's unfortunate for them, but it's great for us because Google has done the job of taking all the people who maybe quit a little too early and giving us all that traffic, giving us all those opportunities. That's another reason why you need to do keyword research to find out what has the best final return on investment. Because you might be very, very surprised to find out, oh, wow, look, bathroom reconstruction is actually not that hard to rank for, surprisingly, for my area or whatever it is. Bathroom remodels, it's only 36% tougher than the average SEO niche. That's interesting. And we have a very robust, and this is because Google's knocking people out. There might have been a whole bunch of really tough people here who knew what they were doing in terms of SEO, but now they're gone because maybe they were a little too over-optimized with too many keywords in too many places, right? So it's good to remember that it's not fair in two ways. One, it's not fair in that some niches are just going to be too difficult. You can't go for them at the very beginning, nor should you try. You need to build up trust with Google, and you need to give them a bunch of answers on questions that they find that you are a slam dunk. You need to sort it by easy and start building your site on all the easier queries, and also the ones that make money though too, and be building up on the easier pages, especially on your new website, so that Google tries you out and you give a good answer, you have a non-spammy answer, you have a quality answer, because our AI helped you build it that way. Again, way faster and cheaper than you could ever do by writing it and researching it yourself. In fact, our AI does things that you could never do, that are not humanly possible, right? They look through more keywords than you could ever possibly look through. They look through more competitors than you could ever possibly look through, and more lines of code than you could ever possibly humanly look through. And they summarize all that data for you, which would have been like 20 hours of your work in like 20 minutes. So it's a godsend. So it's never been a better time to do SEO. So that's why we start with keyword discovery. It's really important to make sure that you are building up the trust with Google, right? Again, trust. There's nothing more important with Google than trust. And you need to show them on every single page. And that's where this, that's where this comes in. That's what these people are using, SEO Co-pilot. And you're like, Josh, how is it? Why does that work? It's the difference. It's the variance between click age probability and site quality. So here's another major secret that I'm going to leak to you. Click age probability, there are three main ranking factors in Google. Three main algorithms that rank. There's rank brain, there's spam brain, and then there's snippet brain. Those are the three, like the holy trinity of ranking, I call it. Rank brain chooses what should rank, chooses what should be indexed, and chooses what should be tried more often in Google. And if you don't know what that means, I'll show you that in a second. Spam brain decides based on spam signals, many spam signals, hundreds of spam signals at least, what should rank less, what should be tried less in Google's ranking systems of their flux like this, right? Have you ever seen it flux like this and then flux like this, and you have like a dot and a dash and a dot? That's because spam brain does not like you. You do not, or you don't have the trust yet, right? You need to get the trust. So there's rank brain, spam brain, and snippet brain. Spam brain decides what should be de-indexed more and crawled less. So again, if in your search console, here's another pro tip. If in your search console, you fetch a URL and you go back and look in the fetch and it says URL is not on Google, that means it was a very thin spammy page. They're not even going to bother gracing it with a response. Or if you look in the pages section in search console, it says crawled but currently not indexed. If you see a lot of pages in there that are supposed to be ranking pages, especially if you see pages in there that are supposed to be ranking pages, you've got a major spam problem. So how does that work? How does Google choose, out of this thing like this? Let me show you. So here is also another site that has been using, this site's been using SEO Co-pilot as well, but here's another site that has been using SEO Co-pilot, and I can isolate just the sections that are using SEO Co-pilot. They're all in the parts directory here because he sells parts. You see how there was a boost there as well for his main site. But this is what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like. There's dots like this when they're just trying you out. And notice the average CTR, the green here. See how they're trying it like crazy? You're getting really big CTR impressions. You're getting big clicks. They're liking the page. The page has a good click age probability. The probability that the users, the click, will stay on the site for a long time or for a longer age is higher, right? Rank Brain gives every page a score. And this score is just like the site quality score and just like a bunch of other scores that Google has, including PageRank, where it was a number between, you're like, Josh, isn't PageRank, wasn't it a number between 1 and 10? Yes, that's what they told us in their fool bar, the PageRank fool bar. If anyone remembers what that is, you're as old as I am. Younger folks, you might not believe this, but Google used to give a toolbar from Google that told you what the page rank of every page was. But it gave it out of 1 out of 10. It just divided by 10 and rounded down or up. Actually, PageRank has always been, the score of PageRank per page has always been out of 0.01 to 0.99. So a 0.147 click age probability, I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's a pretty low score comparatively. It's only 15% rounded up. But if that click age probability, that prediction based on their artificial intelligence is multiple, like 20 artificial intelligence have a hand of predicting this. If they predicted that page might be good, it might be a good answer for something, might be trustworthy, then they try you out, right? And instead of getting dots, then you start getting constant rankings. Then you start getting constant rankings and they build up your rankings and your impressions go up over time. You can see that's what's going on here, and your clicks will go up over time as well. And even if you just build for a certain section, as you noticed here, go back. Even the main site's getting a boost from this as well. Because again, site content is a major ranking factor. And site weight is a major ranking factor, and site trust is a major ranking factor. And so again, that's really good news for us because we can use artificial intelligence to build on the easiest keywords that make the most money. So you make more money sooner, faster. And you can get rankings faster, easier, because the AI builds it up for you. So it's really easy. And there's two ways you should go about it. So if you're like, okay, Josh, great. How do I know if my site has enough trust? You said that you need trust, and you said that you need to build up in a certain way. How do I know if I already have it? Also, what about these ranking modifiers, like top level expert in this niche? What is this about? High domain authority, what is this about? You can use this if you have a high domain authority, if you know you're already trusted, you have thousands of pages in the niche, and they rank within 24 hours. They rank somewhere in Google within 24 hours. You can select this if you want, and it'll just change the difficulty modifier. Also, if you have like an author profile that is, or that is hugely popular, and when you Google yourself, you're all about that topic, you can also select this as well, as long as you're going to be using your brand, your author entity, or whatever your brand entity, whatever that is, super popular the topic. You could also select that as well to make it easier. But that is going part of the way to answer the question. That's how you know, right? If you're ranking all over the place for musical instruments, and you're just moving into a new part of the niche, like you never had violins before, but now you do, well, then you can probably start trying to already rank for maybe even some of the harder niches like this, right? You can already start going for these kinds of niches like this. And in that case, you want to sort by this one called final ROI, or final return on investment. And you want to take from the top and just build from the bottom down. Because here's the deal. Here's another major pro tip that it was a very hard-learned lesson from myself. So learn from my hard-learned lesson, please. And it's this, is that, and I'll ask you a tricky question. Let me, I don't know, Google my name. Okay. So, and also if you see, I even get a snippet here. There's the other Josh, or John Baczynski in Calgary. That's weird. There's a, it's not about ranking number one. The person who wins at Google is not about ranking number one, right? If I asked you, how do you win at SEO? You'd be like, oh, it's ranking number one. Nope. Nope, it's not. You might be like, oh, Josh, it's a trick question. It's about getting this featured snippet for yourself by doing a whole bunch of knowledge graph manipulation and a whole bunch of crazy SEO. No, it's not a trick question. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, imagine this was Red Sprockets or whatever it was. Ranking number one is not the person who wins at SEO. It's the person who ranks number one faster, cheaper, easier, and in a way that is less risky, and in a way that you can rinse, repeat easily, and make it into an easy standard operating procedure, an easy SOP, and give to an employee or do yourself. And in a way, doing all that, ranking faster, easier, cheaper, in a repeatable way that is less risky, that will not get you nabbed over time, that will not have some spam algorithm nabbing you in the future. That is how you win at SEO, right? It's in this race that you're all racing, that some people started years before you. It's not about who gets to the finish line, because the finish line is always moving and you always have to keep running. It's about the person who's the most efficient runner, because they're the person who's going to win in the end, right? Or to use a precise example, it's not about spending, it's not about making a bad choice on which keyword to go for and spending $20,000 a month or $2,000 a month on signals to try to rank in 2 years to only make $5,000 a month on average, or as a rough approximate, money back, and you're not even in the green for this particular page's rankings until like year 3, right? It's about ranking on keywords that you can get right away and start making money right away, and building up slowly on this, because that's how Google's going to trust you anyway. They're not going to try you on keywords that are like this, acoustic guitar. They're not going to rank a new site or an untrusted site on something so important, something that so many people are searching and there's so much potential money behind, until they've trusted you with like 50 different pages at least of answers. And I'll show you the exact way to determine. I already did, but I'll show you again the exact way to determine how many pages you're going to need per topic, right? Per topic. So that's why final return on investment is so important. Does that make sense, guys? So it's about running this race, but not having as many boat anchors on your ankles. Or to say it the same way, it's better to rank in month 1 or 2 and spend like $0 or like close to $0, like whatever it is to get SEO University and SEO Co-pilot, which is like anywhere from like $100 to maximum $300 a month, if not far cheaper, with the gifts I'll be giving you today. Wait till the end. It's about spending that much money and building up on these kinds of keywords where, okay, I'm making $200 a month for this one. Now in month 2, this keyword is already making your business or your client's business money, right? Or, and then you build on this one. Oh, now we're making even more money. Now we're making more money, more money, more money, more money. And these are just ballparks. You could be making more money than that. If people are willing to bid $8 or $9 on these kinds of keywords, there's money behind them, right? There's more money than this. This is a rough ballpark. The keyword revenue ballpark is a rough approximate, as it says here. The keyword difficulty score, however, is highly, highly accurate, right? Our keyword difficulty score is a very complex chain of thought ideation AI that uses over 12 factors here. That is to say, if we get a good scrape from our API, but here we go. It uses over 12 factors and a few in the background that you don't see that it gives you a much more a reliable and a much more robust rating than say that's interesting. It doesn't like this Coda thing. Anything on Coda it doesn't like. That's weird. The API that gives us the links doesn't like that for some reason. That's odd. That's very rare. You don't see that very often. This must have been when this thing was. Let me find a better one here. This must have been when this thing. You can always rerun this as well. Let's look at hair transplant, New Jersey. Yeah, here we go. So this is a much more robust chain of thought ideation that is far more accurate than say Ahrefs. Ahrefs only gives you difficulty based on backlinks. That's it. That's it. Here's another top level secret, SEO secret for you. Links are not even of the top 3 of ranking factors anymore. So basing all of your SEO on that is a giant mistake that you're going to fail, and you're going to have to get some other job somewhere else. And relying on a difficulty score like Ahrefs difficulty score, which for some reason beyond my understanding is the industry standard, that is only based on backlinks, is again incredibly, incredibly wrong. It is far more complex than that, than just basing it off of backlinks. That's ignoring a ton of factors that are far, far more important than just backlinks. So it's all about the final return on investment. If your site is powerful enough, you're already doing hair transplant in New Jersey, and you just want to move into some new keywords in here, then fine. Sort by final return on investment and start adding any of the ones that you don't have. Because final return on investment is the ones that make the most money times the easiest, has the best final return on investment score. Again, the final return on investment is how you should be building your pages if everything else is equal, in the sense that you have a highly trusted site that already ranks like crazy for these kinds of queries. You're just moving into another area or adding queries you didn't have before, which you should be doing all the time, by the way. You should always be building pages. You should never stop building pages. You should always be growing your site with quality spamless pages. If you have to stop and start adding low quality spamful pages, then you should stop. But that time will never happen, right? You should always be adding high quality pages, spamless pages, non-spammy pages, to increase your site weight and have that much more of a competitive advantage over all of your competition, both current and future. And you do that because you're already ranking for this query like crazy by sorting by final return on investment, which multiplies the most money times the easiest keyword and sorts it like this. And then you go from the top and you just keep working your way down. when you run out of difficulties, you run it again and get more difficulties. We don't do all 5,000 for you right off the bat because that would hammer our database. But you can, we do run 150 at the start, and then we do 20 at a time every time you do a click. So that'll be enough to build 20 pages, and you can just keep doing them 20 by 20. And however, if you're like, okay, Josh, I'm building up a weak site or a new site, and I don't rank, I don't get indexed within 24 hours. Or if I do, Google tries me and then punts me out. How do I build up the trust with Google? Easy. You sort by keyword difficulty to the easiest, and you start building up from there. And that's how you start building up. And you build up as many pages as you need to become contemporaneous with your competitors. For example, how many do I know that I need to do? Well, search for the keyword, the main keyword that you're ranking for here, and start seeing who's ranking for this kind of stuff. Like Dr. Wisehair. Okay, let's check this guy out. Dr. Wisehair. Do a site colon, and I have Google G Infinity, which is a Chrome extension. Or you can just click the very end every time, click the end again, and there we go. He's got at least 140 pages, right? There could be more. That's when they cut it off. So you know, but we're already into PDFs, so actually these PDFs don't count. So I can actually go to 13. When do the PDFs end? 13 here, it looks like. Okay, so we have about 130 pages of competition from the top guy on this query. So you're going to have to be, right, this is page 13, so we have 113 pages, 13 times 10, roughly, right? So you have about 130 pages that the number one guy has. Now, some of your other competitors here in the SERP, they could have way more, but that is the bare minimum that you're going to need, right? That is the bare minimum kind of site weight you're going to need to appear like you are a serious expert in this space with a lot to say about it. And that, when you think about it, when you think about Google's EAT acronym, experience, expertise, authority, and trust, that is one aspect of EAT. You're going to have to show how I'm an expert in this niche, just like Dr. Wise here, and I have a lot to say about it. I'm going to talk about it, and I have a lot of pages to say about it. And that's how Google kind of knows how much there is to talk about in a particular niche is by how much you say it, right? How much you talk about it. And so to have those site quality, those signals on all your pages up to your index page like this, to have those signals, you're going to need around the same amount of pages here that they have on this particular topic that you're trying to rank for. And so if you're like, Josh, how many of these do I need to build up? Probably around at least 130, probably. Why would Google rank you for any better faster than that? And if you're like, Josh, I've ran out of easy pages to build on, what do I do? Well, average can be fine. Even tough can be fine. Tough is like only 15% and higher. 20% and higher is still not that bad, quite frankly. Looks like only one person here kind of has an idea of what they're doing for SEO. There's a couple of big brands. There's a couple of sites that are dedicated to it. But yeah. That will give you a sense of, okay, well, look, their pages are focused on it. How much is their site dedicated to it? Not a lot here. Their sites are barely dedicated to it. And their titles are barely dedicated to it as well. That's interesting. If you built a site on eyebrow transplant when everyone else seems to have a page dedicated to it, and the sites are barely dedicated to this at all, a page is highly dedicated to it. 40s are high for this score. These guys have pages that are really dedicated to the topic, but not sites. So here's another pro tip. If you look at a difficulty profile like this, and you notice, okay, well, it doesn't look like these guys have a lot of sites dedicated to this. They all have pages dedicated to this. Bigger sites rank better, especially sites that are dedicated to the topic. You might want to break up your site to eyebrow transplant, New Jersey, versus whatever, hair transplant New Jersey, this could be a different niche for you. And you'd have a much better chance of ranking for the tough niche sooner, faster, easier, better. So there's another pro tip. And if you run out of difficulties, fine. Then go to the end. Go to the end of the difficulties and run more. And keep running them. And you're like, Josh, I've run out of pages here. I only got 72 results with this. Okay, no worries. Just do hair transplant now, not New Jersey. Go in and let's run hair transplant. Go to here, do hair transplant. You could also do hair transplant in New Jersey as well. New Jersey, United States. See what else we get from that. And then you can do hair transplant just globally. And see what kind of informational pages you can make off of that as well. You're going to get a lot more ideas, for sure. A lot of these are going to cross over with these ones. But you see here we got 3,500 ideas just for New Jersey, just in the New Jersey location. So this traffic and this bidding is accurate to New Jersey. So this is accurate to what you're going to be getting in terms of the kind of keywords from that area. So that's fantastic. So again, check to see how many pages your competitors have. Guess that you're gonna have to build that up quickly. And here's the next question. Like, okay, Josh, I see that I need about 100 pages, 130 pages on this topic, because that's at the very least what the top guy has, maybe even more based on the other guys. They could have even more. They could have 500 pages, but at least 100 pages I need to build. So how many months should I take to build that up? I should trickle it out, right? 10 pages per month? No, not at all. This is where I have to start arguing against the SEO rumor mill. So again, I apologize. I don't mean to sound arrogant. I don't mean to go against what people believe. I apologize for the blunt way I speak. I just learned a few years ago that I have autism. I didn't know this. I just thought I was a nerd all my life. And that makes me very forthright and kind of blunt in the way I speak. But I'm a passionate guy. I'm an emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I call it like I see it, because I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to sift through the SEO BS that exists out there, and there's a ton of SEO BS that exists out there. And one of the SEO BS things, which me and my group here in SEO University that we can't stop laughing about in SEO University, is the notion that content velocity is a deranking factor. And the answer is wrong. So here's another major secret that you would have to go to a crazy expensive conference to go to learn and or join SEO University for much cheaper than going to these conferences, and have a robust, helpful community at your back to help you as well. This is how this works, right? So this guy generates 1,000 shit pages with ChatGPT, which is what's going to happen. If you go to ChatGPT to generate your content, it's going to be a shitty page, probably. I mean, you could paste in content from anywhere into SEO Co-pilot and then work on it to get it good. But I would have our system write it, but I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, he went and generated 1,000 pages on ChatGPT, and he tried to index them all at the same time, which is fine. He put them all in the sitemap and sent the sitemap to index. And then the pages started to index, and his whole site tanked. And so he said, therefore, content velocity is a deranking factor. Wrong. Anyone can see, anyone who works in a science field or anyone who knows anything about science can see that was not a proper test. That was not a single variable test. You're doing this test in the wild. That's like going to school and eating terrible food and meeting all these people and being like, oh, my stomach hurts a little bit. It must be that I'm sick. No, it could be maybe you picked up a virus, maybe you picked up a bacteria, maybe you ate something that was slightly off this morning. You don't know. Maybe you're just stressed. There's no way of knowing necessarily just from that lack of data, right? Just making this proclamation from on high as to what it is. There's too many variables, right? It is not what's called a single variable test. We have done single variable tests, and I can assure you, you can build your pages as fast as you want. And Google has said this verbatim, publicly forever. They said content velocity is not a problem. You can build 1 million pages per month. And there are sites out there that used to build 1 million pages per month. The only trouble you run into, and AI content is also not a problem, Google has said. Here's another pro tip. Google has said, and we have confirmed through our scientific testing and through SEO Co-pilot, that AI-based content that you upload at any speed, quickly or slowly, is not a problem either. You know what the problem is? Spammy thin content. That's the problem. Whether you index the spammy thin content super fast or you index it super slow, it doesn't matter. It's still spammy thin content. And if you add too much spam and thin content to your site, that the click-age probability scores are too low, you're going to destroy your site quality score. And you're also going to run afoul of these particular spam scores that Google has as well. So that's the problem. In fact, in this API documentation that we went through all 7,414 pages until my eyes bled, I can assure you that content velocity is actually a boosting factor. Here's a secret that nobody else knows unless you've gone through this and read it with a fine-tooth comb. Content velocity is actually a boosting factor. The faster you add quality content, the faster Google is going to try you and rank you. The faster you're going to get this. So how long, the original question was, okay, Josh, I found out I need 130 pages or 500 pages to compete with my competitors in this niche. How long should I take to make that content? The answer is there is no limit. You should make it as fast as you can while still making high quality content that is non-spammy. In fact, if you could make it in a week, that'd be good. That might be a little hard, even with AI, to make 500 pages in a week. That would be probably pretty difficult. But you could easily make 5 pages a day. It's about an hour to 2 hours per page. So that's a 5 to 10 hour workday to make 5 pages a day, 25 pages a week. You're up to 100 pages in the first month, right? Then you're going to start being competitive with your competition, which, as I mentioned, probably has been building on these signals for years, building these signals up for years, for a very long time, that you need to catch up to. You are running, you're running catch up, right? The gun went off for this Boston Marathon like 20 years ago in some niches to make money. You got to catch up. So the faster you do that, the better it is, again, as long as you can maintain the quality. So that's it, guys. That's the whole keyword discovery portion. It is where you find the ranking opportunities. This is where, and here's another pro tip, guys, that again, I've learned through hard-won experience. The biggest place where every SEO project I have ever worked on goes wrong or right, or to say the same thing another way, the vast majority of your success or failure in an SEO project has everything to do with how you start the project and your searches and your ranking opportunities, your keyword discovery process you do before the on-page even starts, the ranking opportunities you decide to take advantage of beforehand, and your ability to convince your client or your boss to build up properly, to build trust up properly, to be competitive with your competition, to be contemporaneous with them, with the quality content that you have in your site weight, and do that properly and build it up so you can build up trust with Google. And you're doing it in a way that you're not ranking for the hardest keywords and spending the most money doing it, that instead you're spending the least amount of money, making the most amount of money fastest, so that you are more efficient as a business than your competition. Because at the end of the day, this is how you win at SEO, by being a more efficient business. That's it. It has nothing to do with about ranking number one. Nothing. That is accidental. That is corollary. That is nothing but an adjunct benefit. He or she or they who can process SEO most efficiently is the one who wins long-term at SEO and has a career in SEO and will last in SEO. And if you forget everything else I tell you today, that is the most important thing to remember. You must use keyword discovery to find your ranking opportunities. You have to build on the easier keywords that make you more money sooner. The more you're starting with a new site, It is not an option. It is not an option. You must build this way or you're going to fail. And I don't want to see you fail. I'll tell you a secret, another secret. I'll tell you Josh's secret dastardly way he makes money online. Are you ready? I'm going to completely open the doors and tell you all my dirty little secrets about how I make money online. Are you ready? Here it is. I want you to succeed. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. All my secrets are out there. In everything I do, in SEO University, where I'm reverse engineering and testing Google's algorithms to give you the actual ranking factors with no BS, no guessio, no BS, no SEO rumor mill. We know what the actual ranking factors are. So if you're tired of SEO BS and you want to know with scientific certainty what the actual ranking factors are, we will blow your mind. And I do that so that you can win, right? Also, we build these factors into SEO Co-pilot so you can win and you can succeed and you can have a graph like this from just starting like however long ago, like it was just 2-3 months ago. And you can build this up very, very quickly and get success in SEO like it was 2005 because that's my business model. I want to give you good products. I want to give you a good piece of software that will help you actually boost your rankings and increase your efficiency, right? It's all about finding the ranking opportunities and being a more efficient business. And when you make the money, then you can pay me. It's a symbiotic relationship where I work closely with you. You have my email, right? Even people who use SEO Co-pilot, you guys can just email me directly and ask me SEO questions. I don't care. If I have the time to answer, I will answer, right? If it's like, okay, well, that's like a 10-hour course that I teach in SEO University, maybe you should think of joining that. And if you've watched this to the end, you're going to get a huge discount on it. So keep that in mind. I've got a massive opportunity for you by the end as a reward for those people who keep watching. But also this video is worth watching just from the secrets that I give out and the 30 years experience that I give out anyway. Whether you want to join or not. I'll give you another. I'll tell you what, I'll give you another gift. There's another gift I'll give you at the end. You don't even have to join SEO University. How about that? I'm in a gift giving mood. It's a good day. I don't know. I feel like giving gifts, so I'll give even more at the end. And if I forget, remind me. So say that, like that scene out of the South Park movie. We were led to believe there'd be punch and pie. So at the end, be like, we were led to believe there'd be more gifts than this. Go ahead, someone say that to me in the end. Okay. So that is where most guys, trust me. I want to see you succeed. I do not want to see you fail and go away. Like millions and millions of people do every year in SEO. They try SEO and they fail and go away. And you never hear from them again. I bet you guys didn't know that. Like, Josh, how do you know this? Because I've been doing this for 30 years. And in Reddit, you see like 1% of the people doing SEO, like 1% of the 1% who are doing it successfully. All the people on there who go on there and ask questions and you never see them again, that's because they fail, right? Most people try SEO and they try it wrong by going for the wrong keywords that cost too much money, building up with the wrong advice from 15 years ago, and they fail. I do not want to see you fail. And the biggest way to make sure that you don't fail in SEO is to find the ranking opportunities to start. All right, guys. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I've drilled that home enough, that the importance of doing this. Again, if you don't learn anything else or take anything else from this video, make sure that you are ranking based off of, you're doing your ranking process with the keyword discovery ranking opportunities from the start. Now, does anyone have any questions about that? How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling good? Are you pumped to move on to the rest of on-page SEO, which I've got a ton more secrets to give for you guys that, again, is going to make you tons of money and save you a ton of time. If you have any questions, please fire them in there in the chat, both in the Zoom chat or also in the tube use. If you have any questions there, or if you're just if you're pumped, if you're good, give me a good to go, a GTG or a thumbs up, and we'll keep on moving on. Let me check the YouTube here. Do you guys have any questions here? Oh, there's tons of questions here. All right, Billy's Corner says, I'm not convinced they do, as a ton of junk thin affiliate sites make it to the top. though they are an age domain. Yeah, you can see that definitely for sure, Billy. But what we think is a thin affiliate site and what is truly a thin affiliate site might be two different things. Um, uh, uh, and they don't stay there for a very long time. You'll have to admit. We have guys in affiliate in SEO University who are crushing it, who are killing it. So definitely you're going to want to jump in there and start picking their brain. Biz Booster says, who is Sebastian, by the way? Hey, Sebastian, that keyword looks not hard to rank for. Yeah, some of those were quite easy. He goes on, so like 50% difficulty is not something to look for a beginner website? Yes. Or it depends on the site focus for the keywords. Well, like I said, if you're like, okay, Josh, I've been building up my author profile or my brand on social and on forums forever. And when you Google this, like when you Google my name for the topic, you get something like this. Like they know I'm synonymous with the thing that I profess to be synonymous with. If you get something like this, and this is your author for this, well, then you've got a huge leg up, okay? Clearly Google recognizes this entity, right? So if you've got something like this, great. Then you can be like, okay, you can select this when running these, and it's going to adjust the difficulties for you. And if you're like, Josh, my site already ranks like crazy for it, well, then you can select this as well, and that'll adjust the difficulties as well for you too. But if you're like, Josh, I'm a new site, I get my pages indexed within 24 to 48 hours, but they're like on page 8, and then you don't see them anymore, that means you're new. You don't have enough trust from Google, and you need to build from the easy keywords first. You need to cycle this out to the easiest and build on these ones first, and especially the ones that are going to make you money, right? You need to base up on these ones first. And these may all be different enough that you could be like, you know what I'm going to do? These are all pages. These are all Reddit results for beard transplant Reddit, which is fascinating. You could go for this, by the way. Google is starved for other answers here. You could possibly go for this, but maybe this is a bad example. Like this one here, maybe. This is a brand name as well. Brand name. Okay, maybe this one. It's not a brand name. No, it's not. And if you're like, wow, all these guys have pages dedicated to this. Okay, fantastic. I want to make a site dedicated to this. It's not necessary because this is very easy. That's one of the easier niches I've ever seen in my life. This is one of the easier scores I've ever seen, period. That's one of the lowest scores I've ever seen. It would be super easy to rank for this. So you could just rank a page for this. You don't have a whole site. You don't need a whole site dedicated to this. But you know what would really go faster? If you based your whole site on this and talked about the cost on the index page, you would rank even that quicker. If that makes sense. Okay, Jay, I see your questions. I'll get there in a second. Biz says, I found some, Sebastian says, I found some good, tough keywords for my real estate website. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Sebastian, I hope you don't mind me saying, he's working on a rank and rent scheme. So we have all kinds of ways of making money doing SEO. In some cases, you're like, in most times, you're going to be like, Josh, my customer or my boss or my interest lies in a particular area. So that's where I'm going to stick. But I would give you this one piece of advice. If you're really good at SEO, or you're really good at learning and you want to join SEO University and you want to get an SEO Co-pilot and you want to learn it really well to make money on the side or as your primary thing, working from home, and you don't really care what niche you're ranking for, you just want to make the best bang for your buck, that's where this tool still is handy, where you're adding in more seed keywords. Like you're like, how much money does crypto make? How much money does bookkeeping services make? What about business services? What about home services? What about water softeners? What about, and you're just doing it generally to see how much money is in these niches. And then you realize, oh, I can make money in all these niches, right? And so he's doing rank and rent. And rank and rent is a really great strategy where you try to rank for keywords where when you can rent out these pages to professionals who are very leads driven. So think about businesses that are very leads driven, like car sales or house sales or law. These are all very leads-driven niches, or locksmiths, or tow trucks, things like that. It's, at the end of the day, it's all about the sale, and they're used to a sales pitch because they give them day in, day out. And what you do is you find a niche like that. You find a niche like this where there's maybe some like New York areas. You start seeing how difficult it is to rank for some of these neighborhoods, to give neighborhood information. And then when you're ranking, on page 1 for that, then you do New York real estate agent, and you see who's ranking on page 2. You give them a cold call and you say, hey, I've got 10 leads. I'm not a real estate agent. I just got them from this page here. Do you want them for free? And they're going to say, yeah, what's the catch? And you say, no catch. I'll give them to you for free. If you close them, or even close one of them, and you want more, we could talk about you renting this page out for whatever you think is reasonable. And then there you go. Boom. They take the leads. They close one of them if they know what they're doing. And you can call all of them up, right? You can give 5 leads to one guy, 5 leads to the next guy. And they're like, yeah, this is great. I'd love to rent the page out. Okay, fine. I'll rent the page to you. I'll give you a little area on the page you can modify yourself to add in like your information, like an ad, and I'll bill you as the top real estate agent to talk to buy houses in Soho or the Bowery or whatever it is, or Tribeca or whatever it is, and you'll get leads from this, and then you can rent it out for $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. Remember, real estate agents make crazy commissions. They're making like what, 40 grand a house they're selling, or whatever it is, give or take, depending on the area. So if they just have to pay $2,000 a month to rent this to get these leads, and then that's just recurring income for you. That's it. Recurring income just comes in. Rent 10 of these pages out, you're making 20 grand a month, US, sitting on your butt at home, playing video games half the day. Does that sound like a good way to make money? I think it probably is. And so rank and rent has always been a great way to make money in SEO that, I don't know, for some reason the industry just seems to have forgotten about. Because again, this industry has like amnesia. Like it's turned over in the professionals who work in it, like generally speaking, like 3 times. Like, does anyone even know who Matt Cutts is here? Has anyone ever heard the name Amit Singhal or Matt Cutts? Does anyone even know who that is? Like the who's who of SEO, or Rand Fishkin, the who's who, or Eric Ward, God rest his soul, or even Barry Schwartz. Does anybody know who these people are? These have been the who's who in SEO at various times over the last 30 years. I've known them all. I've seen them all. I've worked with them all. So anyway, and what happens if your rank and rent project fails? No problem. You take the keyword ROI from here. You average out what it could make per month. You use the standard business valuation model that websites that sell websites use, like Flippa. They have a standard model of how much money you can make per month times a certain amount, and that's how much you can sell it for. And you sell the site for like whatever it is, 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, and you move on. If no one wants to rent it from you, that's no skin off your ass. Fine, you just go sell it, and you built it up faster and easier. What if you can rank a site within 2 months, 3 months, and sell it for 5 grand? What if every 3 months you could sell a site for 5 to 10 grand? That would be pretty good too. So anyways, so those are other ideas. And that's, again, another reason why it's important to think about this from a business perspective, because I want you guys to succeed and make money, right? And I know there's money on the table. Sometimes doing client SEO or consultant SEO, there's money on the table, slogging away for $500 a month or $1,000 a month, or even $2,000 a month for a client. You're doing all this work. Sometimes there's better ways to make money doing SEO, quite frankly. Okay, see if there's any more YouTube questions here. Sebastian says, Gifty Friday. That's right. I've got another gift for you. Sebastian says, good to go, amazing info. Billy says, thank you for your video, by the way. It's been very insightful. I'm glad you like it, Billy. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I've been teaching SEO for quite some time. How many pages should a rank and rent be? Again, Billy, it totally depends on your competitors. The site weight for your site totally depends on your competitors and how many pages they have. Sebastian says, yeah, it depends how many pages the competition has. You're correct, Sebastian, who's also a SEOU student, so thank you very much. Billy says, thanks, it's interesting and something I was thinking about. I have a coupon saving site with 2,000 plus retailer brands. Just wondering if this tool can help with content. Of course it can. This is the go-to tool. SEO Co-pilot is the go-to tool for building all of our on-page. It's completely what we use here in SEO University. I have a few students who still have writers that they've employed forever and don't want to fire them. But I think they're even, I know we're all using it for the keyword discovery. I think they might even be using it for the content. And again, we're all getting results like this. There was another question here in the Zoom. So Jay says, so it takes about 1 hour to create a page of content, 5 hours for 5 pages, roughly. It really depends on your strategy and how difficult that particular, so that's a great question, Jay. It really depends on how difficult your niche is. So for example, here's another diagram I'll paint for you. So there's what we call surgical SEO on this side of a continuum. And on this side is what we call spray and pray, which is really kind of black hat. And it's basically you're building the pages as quickly as possible. And it's a numbers game. You build the pages as fast as possible. You build 10,000 pages, 20,000 pages, whatever it is, or 1,000 pages in a month. And you don't really care of the quality. You do, that's not really true. I mean, you do have to care about the quality, but anyway, we don't do this, right? We don't do this. We sometimes go in the middle and do something what I call targeted TCP, targeted carpet bombing, TCB, targeted carpet bombing. And so I got that metaphor from World War II. Obviously, there's a really great show on Apple Plus, if you guys have it, called Masters of Air. And it's all about the Allied bombers, the Canadian and American bombers who were stationed in the United Kingdom for World War II. And they were doing bombing raids. And the difference between the way that the Allied forces, the Canadians and Americans did it, versus the way the British did it, for example, is that the British would do night bombing. So they'd go over at night and drop bombs all over the place, but their target could be over here and they could have missed it entirely because it's too dark to see. Whereas the crazy Canadians and the crazy Americans, they did their bombing in the day, where the anti-air could see them and fire back at them. But their targeted bombing was much better and they would hit the target much more often. And so that's what I liken to our SEO approach, is being right here in targeted carpet bombing. As long as you're building quickly and your pages are more or less in the green, you can build a page in probably 20 minutes. So you could probably, if you want to build 10 pages a day, that's only like 200 to 300 minutes of work, right? When it comes down to it, it's only like 3-4 hours of work to build a lot of pages per day when you're doing targeted carpet bombing. And you're not really paying a lot of attention either to the kind of query you're building on in that modality. In that modality, you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the easiest and I'm just going to start building. And I don't care what the keyword is, right? I just go here to the easiest. Eventually, maybe one day, when the system is not so busy, when the system is not busy of people using it. Hello, McFly. Here we go. You go here to the very easy, and you just start building. You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to build 10 of these a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? You click 10, and then you click find boosting keywords. So it would work something like, I don't want to belabor the system, but I can do 5 at a time. Find boosting keywords, and you're like, where I'm going to rank, you should probably select your area if it's even vaguely located, but if it's not located to an area, you could just select just like say United States, for example, that would be fine. And say continue. And it'll run those reports for you. and then you'll see them running under reports. And then you build these 10 pages a day. You do the article builder for these. I'll show you in a second how to do that. And then you do a quick little trim, a quick little look over with your human eyes, spending no longer than 20 minutes a page. And that's how you do the targeted carpet bombing. That's how you would build up the site very quickly. And then if Google doesn't like some pages, you just 301 that page to a page that's equivalent in or very close in topic that it does like, and you just keep going on. And there's also something we call surgical SEO. This is where in SEO University, to get more kind of, and this guy isn't even doing surgical SEO, quite frankly. This is a bit more surgical SEO here. These kinds of rankings are more surgical SEO, which is a lot more rankings. This is the same graph as I showed you here. It's the same site. To get 224,000 extra impressions that didn't exist and 4,000 clicks on actual pages that are, these are transactional pages for this client. He actually makes money on these queries, right? To get him all these sales he didn't have before. I spend a little bit more time than 20 minutes. I go for about an hour, and I put in all the extra SEO University secrets that we know from all of our test results here. We know about ranking factors that nobody even knows about, that they don't even realize are ranking factors, quite frankly. Like how to get spot number 2 in 2 days in local, for example. We have that course coming up in next week. This coming Thursday, Ryan will be running his top local secrets course only for SEO University students. So if you're thinking of joining, now would be a great time. But yeah, so that in terms of the time it takes, that's about how long it takes to answer your question. Okay, let's see here. Sebastian says, it will help a lot. I use the tool every day. I know, you've been building like crazy, my friend. Billy's Corner says, very cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for interacting. I give you heart emojis. Okay. Scott says, Matt Cutts, a leader in disinformation. Yes, that's who he was. Matt Cutts was the guy who used to run search. I had a very controversial conversation with him, Matt Cutts and Josh Brzezinski. I had a very controversial conversation with him one time that people went crazy over some time ago. Anyway, like I said, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. Okie dokie. So let me close this. Let me close this. There we go. Okay. So let's move on. So the next portion here, like I said, is you need to run some reports. You can do them individually here by going to Keyword Spy. In Keyword Discovery, you can just click one and go and click the Run More Reports button. Boom. Find boosting keywords. You can run that. You're going to find them all here in the reports section. Now, our AI looks through tens of thousands of lines of code and hundreds of competitors to build a much better model than you ever humanly could. So you might be like, okay, Josh, we're going to dive into this now. We're going to spend a whole hour talking about this, right? Nope. And when I'm doing my SEO, I need to go in here and I need to look at my competitors, and I need to guess randomly as to what the ranking factors are, and I need to look at these competitors and see what's going on. Nope, not at all. Here's some more good news. AI has freed us from the need to look at our competitors the vast majority of the time, especially if you're doing anything from spray and pray to targeted carpet bombing. My AI does 90% of the work, 90% well. So the only time you ever need to look at your competitors really is if you're doing surgical. If it's a $50,000 keyword, I will use my own human brain, and I will run reports, of course, but I will, because it does more work than I ever could. It saves me 20 hours of work, at least, more than that. It saves me hundreds of hours of work because it looks at stuff I could never have looked at, which I'll show you in a second. But the good news is that AI has freed us from the need to do competitive research. And think about how messy that process has always been for us, right? Ever since the dawn of SEO, we've been looking at competitors. And when SEO was easy and all it was put your keyword in the title tag and the H1 and in the paragraph, okay, fine. Then yeah, you could look at that. You could reverse engineer that. It was one factor. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But now that SEO is like hundreds and hundreds of unseen, unknown factors that the rumor mill has no idea what it is. Even worse, they think other things are factors that are not. It is impossible to do keyword competitive research in that area. I would like to invite everyone to think that, you're not Nostradamus of SEO. And scientifically speaking, the amount you're going to be able to just look at a competitor and randomly guess what are good ranking factors, and then be able to actually take advantage of that on your own page, and not also incorporate the dozens of mistakes they've also made, is going to be highly, highly unlikely to avoid that scenario, right? That's why people are failing at SEO and getting out of it like crazy, because just the competitive research philosophy of SEO just does not work anymore. Google has now surpassed, like, here was the critical mass. The critical mass looked like this. Here's the line here of the barrier of above it's not going to work anymore. Below it will still work. SEO, this is the easiness of SEO line. And when we were starting down here and SEO was super easy, you could do keyword competitive research. But we've passed that now. We've passed the easiness now where you could just eyeball it and be like, yep, I know what the ranking factors are, and eyeball it. You've gone past that point. It doesn't work that way anymore. So here's the good news. I freed you from doing it. My AI rebuilds actual models that Google uses to rank pages, like BERT, RankBrain, TWBERT, vector embedding, the helpful AI, the review AI, what we call the heat, the quality AI, query interpretation, something called DOM vector, which you've probably never even heard of. We rebuild these models for you after looking at tens of thousands of lines of code that human eyes can never look at. And we do all that work for you. All you have to do is wait. So after you do keyword discovery, all you have to do is wait 20 minutes, or not even, and these are all done, right? The reports are all finished. And it has all these models rebuilt for you. And so you never really need to come look at this content that's in here. This will all be here waiting for you. However, and then you could just build AI articles from here. You just go, okay, fine. I want to go here and I want to click this and I want to use the topic and I want to use the page type that my AI selected, and I can add this stuff, and I'll talk about this in a second, and click go. And then it'll build the article for you automatically and save you hundreds of hours there as well, doing research as to what makes a high quality article, doing research as to what the heck a bookkeeper service is, what are the important things to even talk about here. Just because page one's talking about it doesn't mean that's what you should be talking about. The way Google's algorithms work is they look at the entire shard collection. What's a shard collection? A shard collection is computer science terminology for the collection of data they bring back from multiple databases. Let me show you, like this. Multiple databases break all the information into shards and give it to you. This is how Google and Matt Cutts, as some people recognize the name, have always talked about how Google's results work. That means the top 1,000 you get back, you need to look at. Those are all the competitors you need to look at to really see the trends. And so we do massive statistical data correlative analysis. We do massive scientific statistical studies that are well beyond the threshold for scientific validity. When I was doing my master's degree and my PhD, I learned the formulas for statistical validity, and I could do this at a professional level, right? That's probably a part of the reason also why this is successful, because I did learn how to do science at a professional graduate level. And that's the approach we take for everything, for SEO University, but also for SEO Co-pilot. Anyway, I'm not bragging. I didn't finish my PhD. I decided to quit and do SEO after a year instead, but I did a year of the PhD at least. So However, we really don't need to look at this, right, too much. The AI is doing all the work for you. However, what I'm going to do is I am going to come in here and I'm going to point out some of the highlights that are really, really important, just so you know that they're super important. So first off, does anyone not know that RankBrain, BERT, neural matching are Google algorithms? Does everyone not know that? Is anyone curious about that? RankBrain, BERT, neural matching, Google search. How AI powers great search results. A guide to Google search ranking systems. Here is, did everyone know this page has been up for years? This is where Google tells you what the actual ranking systems are, right? They use BERT. They use deduplication systems. They use exact match domain systems, freshness systems. We also have that as well. There's PageRank. There's MUM, the multitask unified model, which they also use. There's neural matching, which we rebuild a model for you. We rebuild a BERT model for you. We rebuild a exact match domain system model for you. And it's important to read what it says. It says our ranking system considers the words and domain names as one of the many factors to determine if content is relevant to a search. However, our exact match domain system works to ensure we don't give too much credit for content hosted under domains designed to exactly match particular queries. For example, someone might create a domain name containing the words best places to eat lunch in hopes that all these words in the domain name will propel content high in the rankings. Our systems adjust for this. So there's a specific way to attack that. The passive ranking system, we build a model for. RankBrain, we build a model for. Spam detection systems, we build a model for. The health of content up system, we also build a model for. It's not a separate system. It's now based in RankBrain. As you can see, they've deprecated it as a separate system. It's part of their core ranking systems now. And so these models, we rebuild these models for you, actually how they actually work. And those AIs all work differently. What is an entity to RankBrain is different than what is an entity to BERT. BERT entities are phrases. RankBrain entities are words, for example. Same with neural matching. However, anyway, none of that matters. You don't need to worry about any of this. We've already reverse engineered it and done all the work for you. You don't even need to learn this. You don't even need to worry about any of this. The AI does it all for you. But here's two things that the AI also does for you that are very important for ranking that I want to point out. One is the AI selected query intent. So it's very important in ranking in 2025. Here's another top secret, guys. Query intent, or what actually Google calls behind the scenes, here's a major secret in another leak we received. They call it query interpretation, but we call it query intent. Query intent or query interpretation is a massive ranking factor in 2025 and moving on. Basically, when the way query interpretation works in the leak, and it literally verbatim says this, I'm not making this up. When users type in this query, they literally behind the scenes type in a query like this and put this into the database and then get content back on this particular, these topics as opposed to these topics. So have you ever wondered, is query intent a ranking factor? Yes, kind of, but more in the sense of query interpretation and more in the sense of the kind of query it is and the kind of categories of pages they will allow to rank for it. It's also covered here in this leak that we've got our hot little hands on, called the Google classifiers for the semantic query class. Whether it deserves a short fact, an other, a comparison, a consequence, a reason, a definition, an instruction, or a Boolean. And a Boolean is like a yes or no answer. True or false, yes or no, hot or cold, that kind of a Boolean answer. It's a black and white answer. All this or all that. And this is all rolled into query interpretation. And so when you want to rank for bookkeeper service, the pages that will rank the highest actually are going to be about services for businesses and their features and pricing, and the type of services provided in cost considerations, helping the user make a good decision. And so our AI automatically takes that into account. And when you try to build content with this, oh, there's dark mode. Yeah, that's gross. When you tried to build content with with our generate article feature, the system's busy today. People are using the system. When you try to make content with the article producer, you'll notice it pulls the topic of that automatically here. So this is a main reason why you want to get our AI to generate it. One of the main reasons, because we've built up a pyramid, right? The system works like a pyramid. So at the bottom here, we did all the keyword research to find the ones that make the most money, that are the easiest to rank for, that have the most traffic. And then we did all the report for you of finding all the stuff that's important in here, like the BERT keywords, the rank brain keywords, the DOM vector stuff. And at the very end, we take advantage of it in the article component. Whereas if you don't build with our system, you don't have this robust Christmas tree that are going to be bringing you presents, right? If you build without this system, you're going to have this. You're gonna not know if the system's good to build on, not based on the most money, and then you're just adding clusters on top here that are not the right way to do SEO. This is the wrong way to do SEO. It does not work. Sorry. I'll tell you how to do clustering properly in a second. So you see, we build everything up in tiers. That's why there's this step one, two, three step process. So that is the query interpretation. So it's really important to make sure you're building with this, and it's important to check to make sure that my AI did a good job. It does a good job 98% of the time with this. It's very rarely wrong. It's only when I'm trying to be chintzy and I'm trying to rank for something. Yeah, I know what you want me to do, AI. I'm going to do something a little special in surgical SEO. When it's like a $50,000 query and I want to do something a little special. And I'll teach you how to do that in SEO University. The next thing that we do is called the competitor HTML widgets. This is another really, this one didn't run. This is another really important aspect to consider. Where's one that, Music Store Winnipeg? I don't know. We have to rely, there it is, okay, good. So, and basically the competitor HTML widgets, it looks at the amalgamation, or actually, no, it's not the amalgamation, it's the vectorization. So, the amalgamation would be an average. Like, let's say these are all your pages here, and it's not just the top 4, it's the top 1,000 pages. So say I had 1,000 dots here, and then this would be the average of all the HTML they have. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's the 1,000 pages and the vectorization of what HTML it ranks at spot number 1. This is the HTML that boosts you, and it boosts you a tremendous amount. However, it's not, that's a really simplified way of saying it. To be precise, it's not actually the HTML, it's the DOM, the document object model that is extracted from the elements. And it's not just the elements themselves, it's the nesting of the elements. Not only do you need a main section, because that's what vectored towards spot number 1 in terms of the DOM level object vector embeddings out of the shard collection that we get back, that would make a certain, this is like a genotype, right? This is like a genetics, and this is like what it ends up looking like, or a genotype and a phenotype, if anyone's familiar with those terms. And not only is it the elements you need certain elements nested in other elements, because that's the way the object model works, right? It renders an object model like this is the main object. Then there's a select object, and there's a div object, and inside that div there's an h1 object. Not only does it do it that way, but it also takes the attribute names and values and makes those into properties on these objects. Like there's these properties, attribute this, attribute this, attribute this. There's these properties, attribute this. This is how the knowledge graph looks too, by the way. It is also a node hierarchy. You need to have that fingerprint of a genetic structure if you want to rank highly. This is worth tons of points of rankings. So at the end of the day, you need to have these kinds of things on your page, And they need to be coded in this kind of way, actually, quite frankly. It needs to be coded in this way with these values, right? You need to have a class called this because a lot of your competitors had it apparently. Because this probably comes from something like WooCommerce, or probably comes from something like Shopify, and all your competitors have Shopify, and Shopify has like a little rat pooped all of its little crap in here like this, and everyone has it, and so everyone has clicked. The users have clicked it because they all had good click age probability, and so they got clicks and stuck in Google, and to get a good site quality score, and so Google has homogenized and preferred these kinds of elements with these kinds of exact properties in these kinds of elements that produce these kinds of visual effects. If that made any sense to anybody. If it didn't, don't worry, my AI is doing it all for you. You never have to worry about it again, really. Other than you need to make sure you have these kinds of stuff. You need to have shop now buttons. You need to have product descriptions. You need to have pricing, right? You need to have testimonials. You need to have quick links. Hey, where'd you go? You need to have a table with price and information, in stock, out of stock, those kinds of things. And so it's guiding you tremendously between the query interpretation as to what this should be related to or what your topic should be about, and the HTML widgets. It's telling you a lot of information. And the good news is you never really need to think about it. When you go to generate an article, it's going to pull that in, right? If you leave this sentence alone, it's going to use the HTML that it found there. Or you could give it different instructions. I want a lot of tables with all the data in them. Or you could actually paste HTML in here you want. I want you to use this HTML. Let's say you really want to make sure it used the HTML you found in here. And you didn't have a specific, custom knowledge base. You could be like, fine, use this, which is basically, oops, wait, why didn't you paste that in there? I didn't paste it in. You silly bunt. Take this. My control C doesn't work, I swear to God. What the? Oh, Jesus Christ. Slowly. There we go. Firefox is a browser. Oh, Jesus. I come here, I can do this, and I can do this. Boom, there we go. Now we have all that content to use. And I can write more things in here. I can be like, okay, yeah, for Music Store Winnipeg, Manitoba, my city I was born and raised in, music stores in Winnipeg and their offerings and locations, reviews and comparisons of music stores in Winnipeg. Okay, plus best pricing on instruments. Instruments for schools, right? Because that's where music stores make most of their money. So let's say you'd be like, okay, I want to do best pricing on instrument for schools. Okay, great. And then the next thing I can do, so now we've moved into the article generation, which is super easy. I could have left this alone, or you could paste something in there. I could use a custom knowledge base too if I want. I can click this and do a custom knowledge base and import the file. What is a custom knowledge base? Custom knowledge base is a whatever.txt file that has user-friendly, clear, and comprehensive instructions like a writing brief, health benefits, safety precautions, scientific evidence, tone and style, that product information, which tells the AI how to write. So again, this is another reason why you should be using our HQA Writer 2.1. So this is all examples of a custom knowledge base. So I said, use this author profile, and I have this fake author I used and a fake Twitter. I said, write about this product. And I made this fake product up called Ultra Pet TM Oil for Cats. I gave it a price, I gave it the star ratings, I gave it the key points to include, and it did. I said, use these testimonials and use these actual real testimonials with these actual ratings. I should have actually put in here the Yelp links or the GMB links where these come from. By the way, I'm not a lawyer, can't give legal advice, so this is not to be construed as legal advice. However, And I don't know if the FTC exists in the United States anymore with everything that's going on. However, previous to this current administration, and probably still, the FTC has made it illegal to use AI-generated ratings and AI-generated reviews. So make sure your product or service, your website should definitely have reviews. They should definitely be positive. They should be off of your site. They should be hosted by some third party who verifies them and vets them. And you should use those in full. Do not reword it and have a link to them for sure. My AI will sometimes make up testimonials. Don't let it, right? You're responsible for the content you put on your page. That's what you signed up for when you joined. I'm not responsible for the content you put on your page. Ultimately, it's up to you. However, that being said, I'm letting you know that sometimes my AI, and there's no way to stop it, sometimes my AI will put testimonials in there, especially if it sees that, in this, there's testimonials. So I would highly recommend you go in there and make sure, just check if there's testimonials in there. Now, between you and me and the Zoom call, fake testimonials boost your page a little bit and they help you rank just fine, but it's illegal to do. So you definitely should keep your eye on that. Okay, yes, boom. So it saved my CP transcript in case I care. And CP was just saying, hey, you haven't mentioned any of these keywords yet, and your semantic score is broken. And hey, these are really important keywords to be mentioning. You haven't mentioned them yet. And here's some suggestions on how to fix it. Like, for example, generate the article. That's what CP is good for, is that they're your co-pilot. They can really help you do SEO and answer a lot of questions for you. Oakley dokley. So let's go here to a page. Which one here have I not done yet? Let's go here to a project. Let's go to drafts here. Okay, so for sites like this, pages like queries that can make this much money, I might do more surgical, right? Let's look at 360 photo booth, 360 photo booth rental. Which one of these have I not done yet? Photo booth hire. Okay, I didn't do this one yet. Okay. So here is an example of an article that was generated. It's pretty good quality, but you notice we have 3 scores in the red, and that's a good example. So when you have 3 scores in the red, that's a pretty standard example there, right? So so does anyone have any questions about those reports before I move on? So now I'm going to move on to the last section of how to optimize your article and how to get these scores in the green, and what the SEO scores mean, our comprehensive AI-based SEO scores mean, and mean for you, and how important they are, and how to get them into the green very easily by clicking a few buttons. Before I do that, does anyone have any questions before I move on and do that? Any quick questions? Are you good to go? Are you excited to learn this last little bit here? Any questions here in the YouTubes? Let me refresh to see. Sebastian asks, how do you recommend finding more topics to write for keywords you already created an article for using the recommended topic? That one, Sebastian, as I mentioned before, I would go to keyword discovery and I would run more keywords and just find more keywords that are available, is what I would do. Like I did for, let's go to dark mode here, hurting my eyes. Like I did here for hair transplant New Jersey, I did hair transplant and I selected New Jersey, and I just did hair transplant as a general thing, and I got 3,000 more ideas, 3,500 more ideas than I had before. And you do it along the idea. So New York areas, you would just search for more areas, more New York neighborhoods, New York real estate tips. You're doing ideas like this. And if you're like, I can't even think of any ideas, no problem. You can ask CP, or you can go to ChatGPT and be like, I'm writing this kind of site. What would be useful to rank? And you can get those ideas and you can paste them in here. I'll be adding a CP to every portion of SEO Co-pilot at some point, and there will be a CP down here you could ask, oh, what else should I be talking about? And it'll tell you. All right, awesome guys. So the last portion is the article thing. How do you use it? Well, it's pretty easy. Our 4 scores are very, very important. Now, guys sometimes are asked, like, Josh, how come you have 4 scores when, you know, whatever, this other piece of shit app like Surfer or whatever it's called, or Pop or whatever they do, whatever they use, it only has 1 score. How come you have 4? That's because the other apps are lying to you. So again, remember I told you I wear my heart on my sleeve and I tell it like it is? Sorry, the other apps are lying to you that 1 score is sufficient. If I could have boiled the SEO scores down to 1, I would have done so. Sorry, that's the way that it is. Sorry, the Canadian said. I gotta go patch my roof, eh? Sorry. Yeah, you're gonna need 4 SEO scores at the bare minimum to make sure that you have hit all the areas in Google that are important, such as keyword density, how AI generated your content is, or how boring it is, the various spam scores of the various areas, including the title, the URL, the title, the meta description, which you'll notice the boosting entities for the meta description are different than they are for the title. That's another little piece of science that nobody realizes. And the H1 and the body. Other very important SEO things to look at here are the amount of exact match queries in your page and in your various areas, and how much they use it in the headers, and if you're missing any kind of major word here. Okay. Hire the perfect photo booth for your event. So now I've got the word hire in there. Save it. Go back here. Refresh. There. Now I've got all the spread keywords to show that breadth of knowledge. Remember that I have the expertise and the experience. I'm speaking about the topic with authority. Therefore, I should and could be trusted. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more detail about these scores. And these scores are great, guys. I have very complex chain of thought ideation AIs, agentic AIs, or mini agentic AIs that are taking bits of SEO and becoming your little own SEO agent for your semantic score, for your predictability, for the various spam scores, for like whatever, URL, title, meta, H1 body, the 5 different spam areas that are so important. And for heat, what does heat stand for? Heat stands for how helpful your content is, because again, the helpful content is baked into the core algorithm, remember that? But also how much you're demonstrating, again, as I mentioned, your expertise, your experience, your authority, and therefore you should have the trust. These are all very important keyword scores that you need to make sure you have, and they're all on-page scores as well. However, are they all created equal? Which of these scores is the most important? Well, it's important to get all of them in the green. It's really important to get all of them in the green if you can. But if you can't get all of them in the green, or if you're going much faster and you're doing more carpet bombing and you want to move on quicker, I'll show you where you can cut corners. But really, to make sure that your article is going to rank as well as possible, you really should have all of them in the green or as close to that as possible. And I'll show you on which ones you can cut corners and in which ones you shouldn't cut corners. And how much of a corner you can cut. So let's dive in. The most important score here by far is the semantic score. This is like your keyword density. It's not actually keyword density. Here's another thing that people don't realize. Here's another pro tip. Remember the day when you could just be like, all right, I'll put my keyword here, I'll put my keyword here, and I'll put my keyword here, and I'm done, right? No, sorry, SEO doesn't work that way anymore. Every single entity is scored up and counted. Every single entity you use, both phrases and words, are scored up and counted as how many times you use them and how many times you need to use them, right? Throughout the entire document, from the top down to the bottom. So it's not really possible to go by those 15, 20-year-old rules of thumb. That's another reason why at SEO University we needed to make this, we needed to make SEO Co-pilot, is because we realized that on page without it, quite frankly, and I'll let you in on a secret, on page without AI doing the counting is basically impossible at this point. So this is a generalized semantic score. You could think of it like keyword density. And basically, you need to be in the Goldilocks range. This is a just right, like quote unquote, just right. It's a not too hot, not too cold, just in the middle kind of score. And you need to be there. And surprisingly, as much as people talk about over optimization, here's a little hint. You can be 1 or 2 points over this and still be fine. But you definitely cannot be under it. This is like going to be like a spot, like I'm going to lose like 5 spots at least for being under this score. So this is the most important one by far. You need to make sure you get in the green range. You need to get this in the green. And if you're 1 or 2 points over, you could probably leave it alone. It'll still probably be fine, depending on what the other scores say. You should only have 1 score over. You should never have more than 1 score in the red, no matter what you're doing, for sure. The next important scores, and how do you do this? I'll show you in a second. The next important scores, in order of importance, in terms of statistical probability to have a causal relationship with rankings, and not just correlation. Definitely the science shows a causal relationship. And that is tied between the average predictability length and the spam scores, all 5 spam scores. The average predictability length is basically a score of how prosaic, how business basic your writing is, how generic your writing is, like the kind of writing that a boring writer would produce, which is also ultimately, because it was ultimately trained on boring business writing, how AI like your content is. So I've seen high scores in both. I've seen high scores, I've seen 5 or 6 in both human writing and in AI writing. And it's very important to get this as low as you can. If it's anything higher than 4.6 or 4.7, I would raise an eyebrow, and that you're going to be, that's definitely not correlated or causal with spot number 1 rankings. If you're at 4.6 or 4.7, you're not even going to be in the top 5. All things being equal, all other factors being equal, if this is at 4.5 or 6, you're not even going to be in the top 5. So Google does track AI content, but they care if your content is AI content plus it's spammy, or AI content plus it's not very helpful, it's thin or weak. And so you definitely have to watch this score here. And 4.41 is not bad. You can be up to 4.13 and still be in the green. So this is not too bad, but ultimately, like I said, you can't have more than 1 red score. And that red score shouldn't be that far out anyway. And so I would highly recommend fixing those, and how you would do that, I'll show you in a second. It's very easy. Okay. And you're like, what does it actually stand for? It's the average number of tokens, which is word pieces. It's the average number of word pieces you can have in a row on average per sentence in your document that would be the exact same kind of tokens that the AI would select to write, right? All these large language models that we use to generate content all work on a statistical probability or a stochastic model, it's called, coming from a Greek word called stochastic, or to throw, to cast. And there's a percentage, but there's definitely a first choice, second choice, third choice for the AI. Like when it sees all of this and all of its training under here, this is the next autocomplete word it's going to put in, then this word, then this word, then this word. And those are the words that it would choose the most. So you are allowed 4.1 words or tokens on average per sentence like this to be something that the AI would generate. It's like flipping a coin once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's like flipping a coin 4.1 times and getting heads every time. The more you start to go to 4.41, Google, the more it's like every sentence you've got a chunk of words like this the AI would generate, then the more Google is like, okay, this is AI generated. We're going to check to make sure it's very high quality content. So that's why you want to keep this lower if you can. The spam scores. The spam scores are exactly as they sound. They're highly trained, complex chain of thought ideation scores, which will determine how spammy your particular section of your page is. All of these areas are very, very important. It's important to be lower than your competitors, that's for sure. At the very least, you should be lower than your competitors. At worst, you should, at best, you would have all green scores for sure. So that means my URL is perfect for this. My title is not that bad, but I have the EMQ in here twice, which I don't really like. I noticed that when I was down here, in my title tag, I have the EMQ twice. So I'm going to change that. I don't like that. So photo booth hire, I'm going to take this H1 and I'm going to put this here for event 2025. And I might even do pros and cons. Pros and cons of the perfect photo booth. I could even do something like that. Photo booth. Kind of like that. Book event booths. These are also very powerful entities of booking a photo booth for your event 2025 plus. There we go. So I might do something more like that. I could have also generated it with AI. I could have clicked this and Sean showed what my competitors also have in here. Louisville, blah, 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 blah. Obviously this is for some reason it focused on Louisville for some reason. But that gives you an idea of some examples. And so good, boom, all good. It likes it, good. So and by the way, so this spam score here highly correlates with rankings. The redder this score is, the higher this score is, the worse it gets. You want to make this score as low as possible. So those are the 3 scores you need to worry about the most. These 3 here. Heat is very important. Heat is, again, how helpful, how experienced, how much expertise. It determines whether you have insightful analysis, whether it's interesting, whether it's beyond the obvious, whether you have descriptive, helpful summaries, whether it's the sort of page you'd bookmark or share with a friend. Is it the kind that you'd be referenced in a printed magazine? Does it provide substantial value? These, by the way, are the exact questions that Google used to train their own AI. And so I used it to train our AI. And you definitely want a green score here. Now, I admit right now it correlates the least with rankings, but it does correlate with rankings. And not as powerfully as like this one. This one is for sure it has to be in the green. It also is the easiest one to get in the green if you've generated an article here. If you haven't, it might not be. And quite frankly, even if I see a 7 here, this is a D. This is like if I was giving you like a grade. If I was giving you a grade, like a letter grade, this would be a D. So it's still not that super helpful of an article, right? On a 7. So if you're doing surgical SEO, you'd still want to pump this up and make it more helpful, that's for sure. But if you're just doing carpet bombing, this is in the green, it's fine. You can just move on and leave it alone. All right, does that make sense to everybody? Does anyone have a question about that? If you've got a question about that, let me know. If you've got any questions here on the tube views, let me know. Sebastian says, I still have trouble getting average predictably linked in the green. Very excited. Awesome. Well, let me show you how to do it. Okay, so this is how you do it, guys. There's a bunch of ways. You could ask CP and say, hey, how do I do this? But basically, you want to use the up score and down score buttons is what you want to do. They're located here. Apparently, my designer has changed the design for them without telling me. So I'll be getting him to put the arrows back here, but it's very easy. We use what we call the Marvel method of superhero muscle building, right? So I don't know if you guys know, but these guys like Chris Hemsworth and Hugh Jackman, who build up all this muscle for Marvel movies, there's a special way they do it, right? What they do is, and this is true, they go on they start weightlifting and they go on like a 6,000 calorie diet, and they just add in muscle and tissue. You just start building muscle and tissue like crazy on like a 6,000 calorie diet, and like working their muscles like crazy. Then, and they do that from the top down. They do it from like the most important show muscles down to the calves down here. And then what they do is they cut, and they cut from the bottom up, right? They stop working these less important muscles in terms of looks, and they keep working the bigger muscles. And what they do is then they go down to like a chicken broccoli diet, and they shred and cut and they cut the weight and just have solid muscle on the top. That's how we chunk up the article, and that's how you would increase these scores and then get these scores down. Because here's the thing, the up score button is called the up score button because it's going to improve, it's going to add to all these scores. It'll add to this score, which we want, but it'll also add to this score, which we don't want. And it'll add to this score, which we don't want. Possibly. Sometimes. Not always. My AI is pretty smart. So what you need to do, if this is not correct, if this is too low, you need to build this way above the threshold of 59 or whatever it is, so that you can then cut it and bring these both down into the green. And that'll sometimes fix this as well. Okay, so let's try. So how do you do it? Well, very easily. You highlight this, you click the plus button, and then you say replace. You can highlight it a few times and click the button to see if you get a bigger selection. If that's not working, you could be like, okay, here's some of the stuff I can do. Give me shortly the reasons why one would want to add a photo booth to their event, but shortly in one para here also what people should watch out for. Pitfalls or concerns people should watch out for. So I can highlight this and say this, and maybe it'll take that prompt. There we go, boom. Now it adds more content and makes it bigger. Then we also do this here. Now in all these, traditional and closed booth, we click the up score and replace it. That wasn't very good. Try it again. And you just go through, and there we go, boom, okay. And put that here. Boom. Okay, there is that. Now copy open air booths. Highlight this, upscore, replace, upscore. See if it'll give you a bigger one. There we go. Replace. Boom, boom, boom. GIFs and video booths. Boom. So you see, we're just adding content, right? And it's stuffing in SEO keywords like crazy. Because that's what we need to do. We need to add the calories. Calories are not the devil. In this particular case, calories are what we need to chunk up the score. So you see the score should slowly be going up. It's already gone up tremendously. Wow. Okay. Just by doing that, I've gotten way above the semantic score already. Okay. I didn't have to go very far down there at all. And I rerun this, let's see. It probably made this score a little higher. Not really, barely, a little bit. Like I said, 4.5 is a little high. Okay, great. So now what I do is I highlight this, and then downscore it. And what it's going to do is going to get rid of a bunch of content. Reduce. Okay, and then reduce this. Replace. Rerun this. Is it still over? It's in the green. Now, did this one go in the green? This one probably is not going to be in the green because we didn't really do the whole page, but look at where it is. It is only 0.05 off of the 4.13 that you can risk it at. So this is fine. As long as I get this in the green, I'll be fine. You could leave this like this. This doesn't need to go any lower. So that's it. It took 5 seconds of clicking buttons. Not that long at all. Now what I need to do is rerun this to see how spammy it thinks this all is. So it still thinks it's pretty spammy. Now that's what we need to do. You need to read this. Reading this is very important. People have the hardest time with the spam scores. And it's because spam is a very subjective, esoteric thing, right? You don't want to be too rich, but you don't want to be too weak either. You want to be, again, just in the middle of saying the right stuff, and that's what's going to get down the score as much as possible. So you need to read what it says and read between the lines. So it says the content provided discusses the benefits of hiring a photo booth for events and briefly mentions the types of booths. However, it contains several instances of the potentially spammy, if obviously inserted keywords, that is to say the SEO keywords, such as photo booth and photo booth rental, which were repeated excessively without adding significant value to the text. For example, phrases like hire the perfect photo booth and explore various types of booths could be seen as to optimize for the search engines. Okay, so that gave you a hint of what you need to do. First off, you need to go through and see if any of this stuff's highlighted. It'll automatically highlight photo booth hire, which is the keyword I'm going for here. The other thing you can do is go and check for booth. Okay, how many times are we saying booth? Are we saying it too many times? Well, first off, it didn't like to hire the perfect photo booth for your event, exploring different types of photo booths. So you need to learn some synonyms, right? Photo camera booths or photo kiosks are also things you could do. Kiosks / booths. Photo kiosks / booths come in a variety of formats. We could try breaking it up like that. You can also read the sentence to make sure it doesn't sound like an SEO sentence. Transform your event into an unforgettable experience with the photo booth. Okay, that's fine. Offering both entertainment and cherished keeps it. Dive into our expert guide to explore various types of booths, pricing options, and top picks to make the best choice. A photo kiosk or booth not only captures fun moments, but also delivers high quality prints. Okay, that might be a bit better. Traditionally enclosed booths. So open air booths, booths, C360 photo booths, cost of renting a booth can vary widely based on some factors. Great. Secure your booth, choose a booth with the booth. By understanding the various booth options and pricing considerations, pros and cons of different booth types. They already know what we're talking about. Now we don't need to stuff in photo booth so many times. Booth. When choosing a photo booth, when selecting a booth for your event, guest count, and then finally the invariable keyword stuffing at the end. Boom. Why wait? Elevate your event today. I didn't use the custom knowledge base to get their private information in here, so I could add it manually afterwards. Okay, so I've done some fixing there. I can rerun it. I know the body score is not going to be happy yet, however, with it. I do have to say photo booth a fair amount. So the other thing you need to consider is how spammy your niche is, right? If you look here and you see, okay, on average, my competitors are 73%. I could run with this if I was doing carpet bombing. I could run with this and go, I'm done already, right? But if I want to do surgical and I want to try to do a better job at getting this, I do want to get this red score down because I do have this one, which is a little bit higher. Although I am lower than my competitors, so I could maybe possibly go with it. So here's another pro tip. You can delete the H1 and put in here let's do I could do expert guide to hire the perfect photo booth for your event 2025. That might help things slightly, but it still has photo booth in here, which is the thing that it's complaining the most about. Yeah, I went down a little bit because I gave it more relevance, made it a little bit less spammy. Now what I could do is I can get rid of this and just put just gibberish in here, rerun this, and see if the body was just really tripping up the amount I say photo booth here and photo booth here. Saying at the top really is what's important. See how it likes that. There we go. So it's fine with it now. It's like, oh, okay, great. That's the problem I had. That's the problem I had, is just I was just saying photo booth too much. It didn't like it. It didn't like it's being said here and being said here. But I'm perfectly fine with that. That would be perfectly fine to say the photo booth in the naming spot and photo booth here. I'm saying hire here instead of rental. That's what we want to say. I'm saying I'm giving you an expert guide. I'm giving them a date signal. Boom, done. I only got one score that's not in the green, and it's like literally 0.05 over. That is it's easily small enough for sure of a margin. So there you go, guys. So I mean, we're in a brave new world of SEO. It is really great to automate our SEO, to save so much money and to rank higher. Not only will this save you thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours of time, it's going to automate your process and help you rank higher. And as again, the results speak for themselves. I mean, you could ask Sebastian, who's on the YouTubes right now. This was not Sebastian either. This is another student who's having a new student as well, who's having a lot of success with it. There's never been a better time to do SEO because we have AI to do so much of the heavy lifting for us. It is such a great time. Any final questions there, guys? Any final questions on the YouTubes or on the Zooms? Ask me anything. I'm happy to answer any questions. And so, as promised, here, let me write down the promised gifts. First off, join SEO U. It's regularly, it used to be $500 per month to join. When SEO started 12 years ago, it was $500 a month to join. Now I'll give you guys a discount, like a 90% discount. It's only $44 a month for tier 1 access. Tier 1 access gets you, which is community access. That gets you access to this Discord here, where people are, we have all the information you could ever want of every different kind of SEO that exists. Internal links, external links, AI relevance, how to do audits. Are SERP clicks important? What are that? YouTube ranking, quality CRO. Again, all this stuff that we talked about here in terms of clickage probability, on-site, on-page, on-site, all these important stuff. You can get access to it for only $44 a month. It's a no-brainer, right? When it costs less than a dinner out. It's worth it for you just to join to see what the hell we know. Does Josh is certainly talking the talk, but does Josh have the walk to walk the walk? If that makes any sense to you, then join SEO University and you'll see we do. We take our science very seriously, and we take our SEO testing very seriously. And we are a group of about 100 like-minded professionals who make well over $2 million US a year doing SEO, managing SEO budgets, and probably a good 80 years experience of SEO altogether. of community experts in here and peer-reviewed testers in here that can crush every kind of SEO that exists. It's kind of a no-brainer just to see what we have. You owe it to yourself to see what we have for this low price per month, for at least for the tier 1 access. Another thing I'll give you is email me for coupons on SEO CP. I have coupons for SEO Co-pilot. If you need to build pages at a big clip because you don't have enough access to the credits, email me. I have coupons for SEO Co-pilot. I would be happy to send them your way. Email me at, again, my email, joshbashinsky@gmail.com. And last but not least, I promise there'll be more. There's more gifts. More. This is a limited time. I will do page audits. We have for free. I will do page audits for you for free for a limited time. For the first five respondents. So you heard it here first, folks. I don't know if I spelled respondents correctly. Respondents. The first 5 to email me will get a free audit, and then it's only $44 US per page. For only $44 a page, I can do a complete SEO page audit on your page, showing you a lot of information that's important that will help you boost your rankings. Like this. So you can get this. You can get this for this. How do you like that? Haha. How do you like my sales jab? There you go. It's the obvious sales pitch, but it's a good sales pitch. Because it is quality stuff. It is quality to get in there. As you can tell, I'm not your standard pitch maker. I'm making jokes about it. Yeah, jump on it. But do not mistake the level of SEO seriousness with my Friday. I'm drinking a Coca-Cola and I'm happy for frivolity. Okay, so three big, huge gifts for you there, guys. Again, the huge discount to get access to SEO University. Coupons. Email me for coupons on SEO Co-pilot. I know the CEO. He's the guy in the mirror. He's me, and I can get you coupons for this. And I'm talking about the man in the mirror. And for limited time, I could do page audits. I'll do the first 5 for free. And then after that, it's only $44. That can really help you. A page audit and even a full site audit can really help you learn how SEO actually works and fix stuff really, really quickly. That's for sure. All right, guys, any questions? So that was only 2 hours and 20 minutes. I did it 40 minutes faster. Wow. That I'm learning. Eric says, where's the link to go to the SEO University? There is no link. I have a site that I haven't looked at for years. There's really no link to look at it. Email me and I'll send you the sales pitch, the information you need. Email me here, and I can send you all the information you need, Eric. I'm often very choosy about who I let in because we have real knowledge that I don't want to get spilled out online all over the place. And I'm happy to say, knock on wood, I'm knocking on my big head of wood, the big block of wood in between my ears. Knock on wood, no one has really leaked our secrets. That's how valuable the secrets are and how loyal my students are and how long they usually stick around. So what questions you guys got? Ask me anything. AMA, ask me anything about SEO. If I can answer in 5 minutes, I will. I will give you an honest answer. Ask me any of the secrets. I'll be happy to answer it. What about here in the tube views? You guys got any questions? Sebastian says, I love attending these. I learn something new every time. Awesome, Sebastian. I'm glad you do. Billy's Corner says, thanks again. I have to pop out, but we'll rewatch. And when I return, enjoy your weekend. Working on our SEO, no doubt, for some of us. Yes, I've been doing SEO on the weekends as well for clients. This Saturday, I'm celebrating my birthday. My friends are taking me out to a nice restaurant in town that has a band playing. I like bands. I used to play in bands. I sing. I play guitar. So we're going to watch a band. So I hope they're pretty good. There's nothing worse than a bad cover band. So I hope. Well, there's plenty of things worse than a bad cover band, but I hate a bad cover band. So I hope they're good. Speaking of which, Sebastian says, "What's your favorite beer?" Oh, Sebastian. Oh, if only. So I used to drink a lot, probably a little too much. And so when I was drinking, probably, well, you've asked for beer and not for ales or stouts. So my favorite beer was something in Gun. What is it called? Gun beer. What is it called? Something in Gun. Innocent Gun. Innocent Gun. Innocent Gun beer was my favorite when I was drinking beer. But my favorite stout is definitely Guinness for sure. I was lucky to visit the Guinness factory in Dublin. I also like Kilkenny, which is a cream ale from Ireland as well. However, my favorite ale, my favorite beer, ale, stout of all those was when I was doing my master's degree in Halifax. They have a lot of local breweries out there, and one's called Garrison's, and they have a brown ale. So Garrison's Nut Brown Ale is for sure. This is for sure my favorite. They also have an Irish Red, which I drank a lot of when I was out there as well. That's probably my favorite out of all of them for sure. I don't mind a dark stout as well. There's a lot of dark stouts too. Sebastian says, awesome. I love Guinness and Blue Moon. Yep. If you do SEO, you're going to have some kind of creature comfort. That's for sure. You know, it's a good job. It's a challenging job, but it's one you can work at home or work on the side, and you can make a lot of money doing it, and you could still get success. Again, I did not Photoshop this, right? I have way more examples as well. If you look here, I have these examples of ranking boosts that goes back forever. I have ranking examples of our group succeeding going back for every single month for every single year that we've been in operation. So many that, see, I'm scrolling down, I'm not even to half of them yet. I mean, how many SEO groups or SEO groups or SEO offers give you like 5 curated testimonials that were probably, between you and me, fake, and probably from 5 years ago, if they were even real to begin with. I can show you examples that are current to now, to right now, like this example here. This is current to now. This was just put in here, right? This is 2025. People are getting boosts now, today. This is not some old method that I found 15 years ago, and I've just been changing the name and bankrolling off of it. That's not how I operate. So if you're ready for something, if you're ready for a change in SEO, if you're ready to actually win, if you're ready to actually have the real knowledge that you need to succeed, and if you're ready to actually have a career in SEO, I can help you have a career in SEO. Be careful what you wish for. I can give you that job if you want that job. That's what I say. Be careful what you wish for. If you want to be an SEO, I can tell you how to do it, and you can be successful and make money at it. And it will be it's an exciting job for sure, and you can and you will do very well at it. All right, guys. Any other questions? No questions here in the Zoom. Any more questions here in the YouTubes? All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you have any friends who are thinking of changing jobs or getting into a side hustle or getting into SEO, please share this video with them and have them watch it. I would really prefer to catch people early in the SEO process, because there's less falsities and lies I have to disabuse you of. If I catch you after 10 years of doing SEO and you're full of the lies and the BS of SEO, it's harder for me to teach you often sometimes than getting someone fresh and new. I can have you be way more successful, way faster if you're fresh and new. So get them to me sooner rather than later, if at all possible. But either way is fine. If you've been doing SEO for 10 years, that's fine too. You're going to have certain advantages and certain things that already work, and I'll just show you the things you've been missing. Guys, again, there's never been a better time to do SEO. So I highly recommend it. I highly recommend you guys send me an email. If you have any questions at all, it doesn't matter if you want to join or not. If you have any SEO questions, I'm here to help you out. I have no problem giving you a 5-minute answer to an SEO question. Email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I'm very happy to help you out. And so thanks guys for listening. Thanks for watching. And again, it's never been a better time to do SEO, guys. You are going to get crazy wins when you do SEO. You are going to get tons of money doing SEO. You just have to do some effort and do some good studying, and you're going to be able to get it. All right, guys. So thanks very much. I'll leave it there. I'll see you guys next week.